Hereditary. Ari Aster. He just started this kid. It took me 40 years to get there. But the thing is that somehow there's she gets involved with a medium who's going to bring her daughter back at least, and they think she's losing her mind. I don't know why. It's about the silences, but you just know it's gonna. And Patrick Byrne, is it? Yeah. He's trying Gabriel Byrne. He's trying to hold it together. Yeah. The boy is excellent. She's remarkable. By the way, if you haven't seen this thing, it is a horror picture, and there are sequences later. Death of the sister, truly horrifying. Really, in the beginning, the family is really what it's about. Yeah. I mean, and I was really electrified by the dynamic of what you see that's expressed in this scene. That scene is an indication of who they are, what that relationship is. And you could take the plot point out about the dead sister. It could be about him not finishing school. Again, it was one cut and camera move, right? That she stands up. Yeah, it's quite something. And the restraint in the frame is extraordinary. About the whole movie, the horror the idea of taking the horror. For me, this film, when you take the horror out, it still works. And so it's a very interesting thing. It is a new film, Midsummer.
Yeah, Midsummer,
Yeah. I try to watch films. It's very hard sometimes to be able to find the time. And when you do something that stands out is amazing, and this did. The story is, I believe, I've forgotten some of it, I'm sorry, but what I didn't forget was the family, the three of them. Yeah. And that's what's important in terms of this filmmaker. Yeah. And these actors, they're astounding. Yeah. The actual supernatural plot to it, I remember, of course, and I remember the ending very well. But what I really think is powerful in the film is really the family dynamic and what this kind of a metaphor is. Yeah. This dinner sequence is remarkable. Sequences where she goes into his room and it intercuts with him in flames. Somehow she's creating a situation where he burns up in a sense. Yes. And the intercutting and how it's done. It's just wonderful filmmaking, really. Disturbing. There's no doubt. I mean, it's a horror film that way, but it's more than that. It reminds me of the best of the horror of the Val Lewton films and that sort of thing. Yeah. I don't say it's made the same way, but it's elevated up to the Changeling. Yeah. The Haunting, the Innocence. Yeah. The horror aspects of it, they shock you in a good way, I think. They shock you into a kind of awakening in a way of the real pain of these people. Yeah. It really does. It's almost like dream nightmares in the middle of the day that you're having.
Wow. The most extraordinary new voices in world cinema. And I've seen a lot of pictures. But this is, I've seen it a couple of times now. And has everyone gotten a little panic attack at least? It's remarkable for many different levels. Besides, and again, the second time I looked at it, noticing the technical artistry of it. That's one thing I had the pleasure of knowing. The first time I looked at it, I didn't know what it was. Nobody told me anything about it, and I just went on the journey. But the second time I was able to watch how you're moving camera and not moving it and that sort of thing. Watching the language of it, which is so unique and so original. There are very few filmmakers on this level that are doing that, I think. It's remarkable body of work so far, really. Well, the thing is that what happened was that we were at Lincoln Center, Ken Jones and I, and we were looking, it was when I had The Irishman at Lincoln Center, showed examples of modern films that we thought were remarkable filmmakers. And I showed a scene from Hereditary, and we talked about how extraordinary the film is, these people who made this film. And in fact, you were in the audience, I didn't realize. We were going to talk about Hereditary, is right, boy. And seeing that again last week over the weekend. Wow. Again, remarkable for me, the way you compose and cut, and slight pans here and there, but very sharp, that sort of thing. Very precise, very well. I wanted to point out, though, that when I first saw the film, not knowing what the hell the film was going to be, the first thing that came to mind was such a major shift from, what seems like a major shift from Hereditary and Midsummer, in style and genre, picaresque things with this sort of, this sort of mock hero who, there is no plot, really. It's all adventures. But one of the things I think it's so important with new cinema, which it's very hard for me to see all of it that's out. And I'm still working on, thankfully, I think, working on my own films, so it's hard to find the time to look at a lot of stuff. But I find, for me, I think what you're doing in terms of structure here, I always try to find, I get excited by seeing different ways of approaching the structure of telling a story, where you're not locked into, there's this, I say it all the time, maybe repeating myself on it, but for years now people are talking about the first act, second act, and third act. And that's theater. I mean, theater's fine, I'm just saying, but it is theater, it's different. Now, you could have a terrific film version of a play, and it's not easy to do, you know, and it's extraordinary, but not every film has to follow that structure. So I try to find a way to be free in the narrative films I'm trying to see. But this is what you do here with that structure.